There is an unwritten rule in women's tennis that says you have to be nice. You are supposed to finish a grueling 3-hour match, walk to the net with a smile, hug your opponent, and tell the press how much you respect their game. It is the era of nice, where the locker room feels more like a sorority house than a battleground. But one player has taken a flamethrower to that entire script. Zheng Qinwen has become the most dangerous player on the WTA Tour, not just because of her serve, but because she completely rejects the social hierarchy of professional tennis. While the rest of the top 10 are filming TikTok dances together and calling each other besties on Instagram, Zheng Qinwen is operating like a sleeper agent behind enemy lines. She walks past opponents without making eye contact, she wears headphones to avoid small talk, and she has admitted on the record that she refuses to make friends on tour. Most people think this is just because she is shy or perhaps a bit arrogant after winning the Olympic gold medal, but the reality is much darker and more calculated. This is not a personality quirk. It is a defense mechanism born from a brutal betrayal that almost ruined her career before it truly started. Over the next few minutes, we are going to answer 3 specific questions to explain the loneliest strategy in sports. First, we will uncover the shocking coaching backstab that taught Zheng to never trust anyone in tennis ever again. Second, we will break down the viral locker room confrontation with Emma Navarro that exposed just how much the other players despise this approach. And finally, we will show you the exact financial and ranking data that proves why being the villain is actually the smartest business decision she could make. Let's start with the betrayal. To understand why Zheng Qinwen treats her colleagues like enemies, you have to look at what happened in September 2023. At that time, Zheng was a rising star, but she was still looking for the breakthrough that would take her to the elite level. She had hired Fissette, one of the most famous coaches in the history of the WTA. Fissette is the man who guided champions like Kim Clijsters and Angelique Kerber to Grand Slam titles. For Zheng, landing a coach of this caliber was a massive signal of intent. It was supposed to be the partnership that defined her career. They worked together through the grass season and the US Open, and things seemed to be clicking. But then disaster struck in a way that was so cold it sent shockwaves through the tennis world. According to reports from tennis media outlets at the time, just days after the US Open, Fissette abruptly ended his contract with Zheng. He didn't leave because of a disagreement about strategy. He didn't leave because of money. He broke his contract because Naomi Osaka, his former player, decided she wanted to come back to the tour after her maternity leave. Fissette dropped Zheng immediately to go back to Osaka. It wasn't a polite transition, it was a blindside. In an interview with the South China Morning Post shortly after the split, Zheng did not hide her pain. She said that when she heard the news, she cried for a long time. She felt completely discarded. She told reporters that while she understood Osaka was a big star, the way Fissette handled it was unethical. She said specifically that he broke the contract and that his decision caused her and her family massive distress. This moment is the key to understanding everything she does today. Imagine being 20 years old, trusting your career to an expert, and having them throw you aside the moment a more famous name calls. That experience hardened her. It taught her that in professional tennis, loyalty is a myth. Contracts are just paper, and if a coach can stab you in the back, an opponent certainly will. This is why when you watch her practice now, she's often isolated. She realized that relying on others is a weakness. This betrayal directly fueled the monster season she had in 2024. She stopped looking for a mentor and started looking for victims. And that shift in mindset leads us directly to the most controversial moment of the 2024 season, where her cold approach finally boiled over into a public fight. This brings us to the moment the polite facade of the WTA finally cracked. It happened in the heat of the Paris Olympics. Zheng Qinwen was on a mission to win gold for China, but in the 3rd round, she ran into the American billionaire heiress and rising star Emma Navarro. It was a 3-hour war in suffocating heat. Zheng saved match point and clawed her way back to win. Usually, a match like that ends with a weary handshake and a mutual nod of respect. Not this time. When Zheng approached the net to shake hands, Emma Navarro stopped her. The cameras caught Navarro speaking aggressively, pointing her finger and delivering a lecture while Zheng looked on with a confused, almost bored expression. The audio wasn't clear on the broadcast, but Navarro made sure everyone knew what she said afterward. In the mixed zone interviews following the match, Navarro told reporters exactly what she told Zheng. She said that she told her that she did not respect her as a competitor. She went on to say that Zheng goes about things in a cutthroat way and that she creates a locker room environment that lacks camaraderie. This was an explosion. In the world of women's tennis, accusing someone of not having camaraderie is the ultimate insult. Navarro was essentially speaking for the rest of the locker room, saying that Zheng is rude, aloof, and unconnected to the group. But here is where the story gets interesting. Most players would panic at being called out like this. They would issue a statement apologizing or try to post a selfie to prove they are nice. Zheng Qinwen did the opposite. When reporters told her what Navarro said, Zheng simply shrugged. She said that if Navarro is not happy about her behavior, she can come and tell her personally. She then delivered the line that defines her current era. She said that she would not consider it an attack because Navarro lost the match. It was a masterclass in psychological warfare. By dismissing Navarro's anger as just the bitterness of a loser, Zheng invalidated the criticism completely. Later at the WTA finals in Riyadh, Zheng doubled down. When asked again about her lack of friends on tour, she gave a quote that should be framed in every tennis academy in the world. She told the press that she prefers to keep her distance from the players. She explained that there is a lot of competition, and she sees the other girls as enemies. She said that she cannot be friends with someone she has to fight on the court because it makes it difficult for her to compete with 100% focus. This is the secret sauce. Zheng realizes that empathy is a competitive disadvantage. If you're friends with Paula Badosa or Ariana Sabalenka and you see them across the net on a break point, there might be a split second of hesitation. You might feel bad about beating them. Zheng has removed that variable entirely. To her, every face across the net is nameless and faceless. They're just obstacles in their way of their ranking points. This brings us to the third and final piece of the puzzle, and it answers the question of whether this strategy is actually working. The results say yes, and the numbers are staggering. Since adopting this absolute isolationist policy, Zheng Qinwen has transformed from a top 30 player into a legitimate superstar. In 2024 alone, she reached the final of the Australian Open, she won the Olympic gold medal, which carries massive prestige in China, and she qualified for the WTA finals. Her ranking has skyrocketed into the top 10. Her prize money and endorsements have followed suit. According to Forbes business reporting on tennis earnings, the commercial value of a player like Zheng Qinwen is astronomical, specifically because she's the first Chinese player since Li Na to reach this level. By treating tennis as a business rather than a social club, she has maximized her focus. The ranking system of the WTA rewards consistency and deep runs in big tournaments. You don't get points for being Miss Congeniality. You get points for winning. By cutting out the emotional labor of maintaining friendships, dealing with locker room drama, and worrying about who likes her, Zheng has freed up massive amounts of mental energy to focus solely on her forehand and her fitness. There's a fascinating parallel here to the men's tour. Think about the legends of the game. Novak Djokovic is respected, but he's never been desperate to be loved by the locker room in the same way Federer was. He thrives on the conflict. He uses the crowd's negativity as fuel. Zheng Qinwen is channeling that same energy. She is proving that you don't need the tour to like you, you just need them to fear you. Her father, who was instrumental in her strict upbringing, instilled a wolf mentality in her. He taught her that the tennis court is a place for hunting, not for socializing. So where does this leave the rest of the tour? They are now forced to deal with the player who is immune to their social pressure. When Emma Navarro tried to shame her into behaving differently, it backfired. It just made her more powerful. It gave her a narrative. Now, every time she steps on the court, there is tension. The fans feel it. The umpires feel it. And most importantly, her opponents feel it. They know that Zheng Qinwen is not going to give them an inch. She's not going to laugh at their jokes at the net. She is there to take their ranking points and their money. The reality is that professional tennis is a zero-sum game. For Zheng Qinwen to win, someone else has to lose. For her to rise in the rankings, someone else has to fall. She has accepted this truth more fully than anyone else in her generation. While other young players are struggling to balance their competitive drive with their desire to be popular on social media, Zheng Qinwen has made a choice. She has chosen greatness over popularity. She has chosen gold medals over group chats. And if the price of that success is that Emma Navarro thinks she's cutthroat, Zheng Qinwen is more than happy to pay the bill. The next time you watch her play, look closely at her eyes during the coin toss. She isn't looking at the umpire. She isn't looking at the crowd. She is looking right through her opponent, visualizing the win. It is cold, it is uncomfortable, and it is absolutely brilliant. In a sport that is desperate for rivalries, Zheng Qinwen has done us all a favor. She has volunteered to be the villain. And as history shows us, the villain is usually the one who ends up with the most interesting story, and often the most trophies. If you want to understand more about the tactical changes Zheng made to her serve that allowed her to dominate the Olympics, or if you want to see the specific patterns she uses to break down defensive players like Coco Gauff, you need to watch the deep dive videos we have compiled. We have broken down the technical evolution of the top players in the world to show you exactly how matches are won and lost before the first ball is even hit. Check out the Tennis Playbook playlist right here on the screen. It is the essential next step to seeing the game like a pro.